Misunderstanding or the illusion that, oh, this is going to transfer in reality. No, 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 no. The way you train is the way you perform. It's harder to ride a motorcycle, a bicycle, or a car. It's harder than defending yourself. The answer will be, have you saved or some of your students saved their life? The same happens in many ways in self-defense. Most persons, they get involved in a situation physically because they don't realize they are making a lot of mistakes.
Hey, this is Surfer of Life, and I'm your host, Tomi. Today I'm sitting here with the man himself, Josafath Herrera, who came all the way from Mexico to Finland. He has a big CV, so I actually have to read it now.
Oh, come on. Okay.
So I read some security background here now. So you are certified by the UN in Security Administration. 20 years of experience in methods of rehabilitation and prevention of physical and emotional abuse in children, adolescents, and adults. Expert evaluating of tactical training programs on executive protection teams and law enforcement groups. Creator of human response models for successful risk situations. Certified by several US police departments in active shooting, low light conditions, arrest control techniques, baton, crowd control, executive protection, H&K, Strategies International, Koga Institute. More than 10,000 private security professionals and LEIN, the country.
Law enforcement.
Support foreign security EP groups which their clients are top business men's like Facebook, Standard University, Oracle, Denzel Washington, Salma Hayek, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on and on. I hope I was able to give you a privilege on this, so many things. But hey, welcome to Finland, and I'm so glad to have you here in this conversation.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to me to be here and that you consider that I have something valuable to say.
What about Finland? How are the Finnish tacos treating you?
Oh no, you don't have tacos. That's not the definition of tacos. If you need tacos, you need tortillas, and that's you won't find tortillas in Finland. But I have to admit, they have my host just invited me a beverage, which is with traditional Finnish beverage, which is like. How do you say, it's berries and a type of gin or something like alcohol. So I don't remember, but that's good. And I tried this pastry with cheese above.
How was that?
It was good. It was good. Not like a taco, but it was good.
Then this one I have to ask you. How about Mexican burritos?
There's no burritos in Mexico. Yeah, we make jokes about that because a lot of people know about Mexico because Taco Bell. No, in America there's a Taco Bell, but there's no burritos in Mexico. After the Americans make the burritos in the north part it was basically in the south parts of United States, that's Texas. There's a type of food that the proper name is Tex-Mex, Texas and Mexican food. So they made this burrito and it get famous around the world. But if you go to Mexico and you say, "Hey, can you give me a burrito?" They're gonna give you a donkey. Makes sense. Like that's a burrito. Burrito is donkey. So the meaning of burrito is a small donkey. So if you say, "Hey, I want a burrito," they're gonna bring you a donkey. So it's not gonna be nice.
I had to ask that. I knew that. All right, let's concentrate on you, not the burritos. You were born and raised in Mexico City.
Yeah, born in Mexico City. If not now, I think still in size is the biggest city in the world, biggest one, and in crowd, in people, I think we are now the second crowded. I think, well, we are around with what we call the city and the suburbans, which for us is considered Mexico City. I remember, I think it's like maybe it would be 28 or 30 million persons.
Wow.
Which is a lot of people, a lot of problems, and problems that only big cities can have. So yeah, I came from the biggest city in the world in size, and maybe the second most crowded city in the world. I think the first one is India, but I'm not sure. Nueva Delhi, I think. But for a while, we were the first one. So it's a lot of people in a city.
How was to grow in an environment like that? So many people around.
Oh, for us, it's normal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's normal. I mean, don't think like we are 30 millions in a small island. Okay, so everybody's like compact. No, there's the biggest city means we have a lot of space, so it's huge. If you want to cross, let's say at 3 a.m., no cars in the city. I mean, not rush hour. We have 3 circles around the city. Makes sense? Inner circles. We have 3 now. Before it was only 2. So if you want to make maybe 80 kilometers per hour, I think it would take you like maybe 1.5 hours to make, or 1 hour to surround the city in the external.
So it's big.
It's big. It's bigger. It's a little bigger than Helsinki, I guarantee you.
You are an expert on martial arts. What's the background of that?
Gee,
How did you get interested in martial arts?
I'm not expert. That's a fact. There are many people better prepared than me. I'm just a passionate student of martial arts, and honor that some people consider me an instructor. So I'm not an expert. That's definitely. I'm way about to be even close to my instructors. But I started as many people in martial arts. I think only if you that's like a fact. 90% of people that train something in martial arts or related for self-defense, guns and something, maybe not in the United States, a little different because of culture, but 90% of people the biggest average of people that train martial arts is because of insecurity. So there's a tendency there are studies about that people study based subconsciously on something they want to understand. Like, psychologists normally there are people that they need more therapy. So I started martial arts. It's funny because I recognize now that I was an insecure person, but I started martial arts because my best friend, my only friend in my childhood, my only friend started to train martial arts. So me, for not losing the time to be with him, I'm going to start. He told me I'm not going to be coming to play, basically, because I was a child. And I was basically saying, I want to keep playing, have a friend. So why you're not coming? So he said, well, I joined to a club of martial arts. So basically I say, okay, I don't want to be alone. So I want to go and do martial arts also. he quit like 1 year later, and that was the start of my journey in the martial arts. I started with Taekwondo, the old style, because the new one I really don't like it, but that's a personal opinion. And then after that, I keep training. Let's say I'm in three martial arts. I have black belt, what they consider black belt. In my times, to become a black belt, at least you had to train like 10 years. In my time, now I recognize it's different. People can get like a black belt easily. I mean, easily means in a short period of time. Not that they don't deserve it, but it takes less time. And in other martial arts, let's say I have at least 1 or 2 years of training each martial arts and several martial arts. Several.
You have black belt in 3 of those. Which
Yeah,
ones?
what we consider black belt. I do Aikido. I done Taekwondo. I train Sambo a little. I train Judo, box, wrestling. What it would be like Kempo, System, which is one of my last physical activities. What I do physically and mentally is Systema. It's a Russian martial art.
You started a little bit as an accident.
Exactly.
Did it become a passion soon, or did
It
you
is a
take one?
passion. I mean, for many people, it may be football. For many people, it's maybe gymnastics. I enjoy gymnastics also. I'm very bad practicer, but yeah, it became my passion. It was the way I can relate with the world. It was a language. Basically, it was the way I can handle my problems, not fighting or whatever. I have a purpose. I have a purpose in English, which it was training. So yeah, it became my passion. And later, with years, I want to transfer that passion to the person. So that's the reason I become. Basically, they demand me to be instructor. At that time, if it was for me, I would be only a student. I just want to keep training, and suddenly one of my instructors demand me, you need to teach. And I say, no, I don't want to teach. He keeps saying me. Well, he was my mentor. He didn't say, you need to teach. Suddenly I was with him and he say, my mentor was Robert Koga, who was he developed the Koga method, which is the most legally defendable system of all United States for police work. And I trained under him many, many years. And when he introduced me in the house of one of his students and one friend of mine, they were coming a lot of police instructors under him who I don't know them before. So when he was when they asked him who I was, in the presentation, he said, well, that's Josafath. He represent me in Mexico and Latin America. For me, it was like, when did I sign it? So for me, it's like that. So it was not something I really look for. He just said that. So I asked Robert Koga, and I asked him, hey, Bob, you just say something about I represent you in Latin America and Mexico. And I mean, I've been training, but I don't consider myself and the standard of the instructors I have seen training under him. So he said, you will do it good and you need to teach. So I say, no, I don't want to teach. But basically, at that time, I didn't say no to my mentor. So that's the way I started. And even in other martial arts, they asked me, you need to teach. So I was not looking to teach. It was more a demand of my instructors.
You were pushed there.
I was very hard pushed. Not pushed, very hard in a way that I couldn't say no.
And you are on the same path still. But okay, we'll talk about that later. Talk about martial arts. How do you separate martial arts from combat sports
Oh
and
man,
self-defense?
gee, that's a good question. But it's a good and simple and hard questions. There's basically there are three worlds. It's like a three big circles. Some people say like police, military, and civilians. Make sense? Let's make it's an analogy, but I'm gonna use these three circles. You mentioned combat sports, self defense, and martial arts. There's, in my opinion, there's a misunderstanding about each circle. It's like three big circles that they make a coincidence in the center. But that's only there's a coincidence in the center of the three of them. And the truth is, first, combat sports, they have their own, like martial arts and self defense, they have their own process, they have their own structure, they have their own objectives, and also they have their own training. Is the and another analogy would be like uh, we all have leg. Well, most people have legs and run, but they can swim or walk. But you, it's like you train for 100-meter dash. 100 meters, and another person trains in 42 kilometers, and another person's train in hiking. And the tendency now is that thing that just because you walk, you have legs, if you train marathons, then by consequence you can do 100 dash meters, or by consequence you can do hiking or mountain, how do you say, climbing. I wish it could be, because that would be simplify everything. We can do many things, but the truth is not. Each one has their own rules of performance, not rules of limitation, like the rule in the ring or the octagon. Is they have their own expectation and conditions. So when we speak about self-defense, for example, we start with the most simple of them, even if it's hard to believe, but the simplest one is self-defense, which for many is that's the hardest one. No, defending yourself is very simple. It's just that when you think on self-defense, most people think only in the physical part. They tend to think that, how do you defend of this? But they don't realize that if you get to a physical confrontation, that means you make a lot of mistakes before. Lot. You, not the person. I'm not saying there are situations that inevitables. How do you say? Inevitable. I'm sorry for my English. There are situations that it can be avoided. Like, for example, I'm in a bus and suddenly jumps above the bus and kidnap the boss. That's something maybe you don't have control. But if we use the same example, maybe you look very good. You are in a bus, being Catholic in a world that they don't like Catholics, in a country they don't like Catholics, and in this Google area, if you see the number of attacks that has happened to Catholics, I'm saying Catholic can be anything, okay? I'm not religious. I'm just saying an example to clear. But if you go to the data is in that place has happened the most attacks to bosses in the world. Well, that tells you a lot. Even that you think, wow, I can't avoid that. No, you make a lot of mistakes. You were in a zone that by probability is gonna happen. The same happened in many ways in self-defense. Most persons, they get involved in a situation physically because they don't realize they are making a lot of mistakes. Make sense? And self-defense is not only about physical, it's about emotionally. Basically, one of the things that affect most people are not the physical violence, it's emotional violence. So there's many factors that you can control to avoid getting in a physical confrontation. That's the reason it's easier, because if you learn about this, you will avoid a lot of what they call self-defense. Of course, there are situations that it can be avoided. It can, but there are studies about that if you put, limits, if you know how to avoid this type of person or avoid this type of place or behavior you have, you basically were not going to get in a physical confrontation. That's the reason I'm saying it's more simple. There are the only factors, or the biggest factor you have to be aware is you, not the attacker. So that's one word, the self-defense word. Then comes the combat sport, which again is the same. It's like I have legs, arms, body. By consequence, if I do combat sports, I can make self-defense, which is not true. It's the same. You are a marathoner or you are 100 speed. It's not the same. It's different. Combat sports have their own rules, their own limitations. As a matter of fact, I try to say, sometimes I say gladiators and soldiers, and even soldiers, warriors, they are different. You can be very good gladiator, very good in the past, but that doesn't make you, by consequence, a soldier. You need specific tactics. You need specific. You can't be just going at a gladiator. You don't put him and throw him in the middle of 20, 25 soldiers, because soldiers, they will be smarter. They will throw spears. They will use the horses. They will use different type of attacks if they know, oh, this guy is dangerous. The same apply that you can be a good soldier, but that doesn't make you a warrior. Well, I mean, you can be soldier, but that doesn't make you a warrior. Make sense? So combat sports, which demand you very, about this, they demand you specific mentality, specific training. It's like being an Olympic champion. Most, it's an analogy. They have their work. And then you have martial arts, which many people say, wow, that's all orthodox. But basically also martial arts, you use the body. It has their own context. It has his own rules. So in some point, they will make a coincidence. That's the truth. They make a coincidence, but that doesn't by definition make them the same. So I hope I try to explain there's difference. Even if I wish, I enjoy, for example, some type of combat sport. I enjoy them. They are fun. They are very demanding. They demand you very physical and mentally. The adrenaline is very seductive. But definitely, you won't apply that. Even that mindset, you don't apply on the street. I came from sadly, and good, the problems we have in Mexico, there are serious also. We have the narcos, we have the problems of a big city, which are unique. I'm not saying they are the worst, they are unique. There are some problems that you won't find, not only criminal, but you won't find in small cities. Doesn't matter how bad the city is, there's unique because of the amount of people. So that gives me the privilege, not like ego, privilege, like to understand about factors about self-defense. We have to be, self-defense is like defensive driving. Makes sense? You try to prevent when you are riding the things. So you try to look 2 cars away from you to prevent an accident. The same is self-defense. So if you have a good instructor, you start to build habits about self-defense. And you can see these habits of self-defense, they are not in the combat sport. But now, sadly, many combat sport and also many self-defense instructors, they can think, oh, we can go self-defense. Oh, we can go to the arena. No, you can't. First, you don't have the condition, you don't have the physical condition. This guy has a mindset that he's gonna destroy you. Make sense what I'm trying to explain?
What are the common mistakes when talking about self-defense? How do people react when they feel offended?
Offended.
Yeah. If they feel like somebody's attacking them, how do they normally react?
Oh,
Common
man,
person, what is the sort of the
what
biggest
is
mistake?
okay, there are many things about, we're speaking about self-defense.
Yeah.
There are many facts about self-defense. This is not a personal opinion, okay? There are many facts. And facts is data. And if we start to base on data, we can resolve the problem. So that's the reason I'm saying this is not a personal opinion. This is a fact. First, any physical situation is physical and emotionally for both persons. If it is only two. If you are lucky, it's only two. In self-defense, if you are lucky, it's gonna be only you and him without weapons. If you are very lucky. But if we speak about real self-defense, the data is gonna say, no, it's not gonna be only you. Maybe it's gonna two of them, or you are two. It's gonna be on hard floor by data. It's gonna be maybe with not so nice condition on light. It's gonna be, at the end, it's not gonna be the way you think. So that's in the physical part. The data tells you you're gonna respond emotionally because you feel threatened. This is very important about how you'd ask me how people react. People react normally based on what they consider is proper for the situation. The normal, that doesn't mean assertive. The normal response in people, there's a tendency of the famous flight or flee response. So some people we get aggressive. That doesn't mean effective. Some people we try to run. That doesn't mean it's assertive. Could be. There's another one that is freezing, you know about this. And there's the other one with this position. I don't want to fight. Really. Very few people want to fight in reality. But in their mind, they say, I'm going to fight this guy. Yeah, if you see 5 guys with AK-47 pointing to you, only if you are crazy or you are like in adrenaline, not thinking process, you're going to go, oh, let's fight. You know what I mean? Most people don't want to fight. That's the truth. If there are sociopaths, there are psychopaths, they enjoy it. But normally people, they don't want to fight. So the fourth condition is I don't want to fight, but I recognize I can't run or I don't want to run because whatever is not proper at that moment. That's when people get a position. That name is posture. They put a posture like, I'm going to fight, I'm going to fight you. But internally, they don't want to fight. So the people, the way they respond, a lot is based, first is emotion. And second, what's their habit or behavior they have learned, maybe empirical, maybe by the family, maybe by the group, maybe by society, or even by their training, how they will respond in their mind is the most proper way for dealing with this situation. Again, that doesn't mean assertiveness. So a simple answer, but I don't want to make a simple answer, is they respond aggressive and they respond passive, avoidance. The mastery or the real challenge for people that want to learn self-defense is to learn assertiveness, which means maybe I have a situation that I have to defend myself physically. Maybe, I don't know. People tell, what do you will do in this situation? I don't know. I'm not at that moment. But what do you do if there are 3 people with a gun? I don't know. I just train myself, which is the proper way I think I consider and my instructor consider, to have choices. There's only 2 choices. You fight or you don't fight, but that's a conscious choice. So there are situations that there are moments that even the same similar situation, maybe you fight, which is not fight, is defend yourself. Or maybe in a similar situation, you decide, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be what we said, or the name is, I'm going to be the perfect victim. Make sense?
Yeah.
What is a perfect victim? It's a person that manage his reactions, his responses in a way that the other person thinks that he has a control, or she thinks, or the group thinks that they have the control. The more you want to resist, for example, they get inside my house, two bad guys. Normally we tend to think, I'm going to fight. Or, oh, no, I'm going to shoot the guy, whatever. Okay, it's good. But let's say at that moment they're pointing a gun to my daughter, 7 years old. First, I have to train for that. I'm not saying you have to train to shoot perfect in the shooting range. You have to train to your own response if someone is pointing a gun to your daughter, because first is the emotion. If you don't train that, you are like a monkey. You will be just reacting, not responding. So the perfect victim, or the perfect victim, is a one that I'm going to say, I'm going to complain, I'm going to do what they want them. So they think they got me, or they think they have the control. The more you resist, the more they are going to try to reinforce the control. So that's stupid, because at the end, there are many consequences, but you want to define the result. Make sense? So you have to, in reality, you only have two choices in self-defense. You are physically defending, or putting barriers, assertive barriers, or you are the perfect victim. But it's a choice. The difference is normally people react by emotions. That doesn't mean you don't do something physical. It's just that it's not guided by conscious thought that I had to respond. Make sense? So
simplifying this.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
simplifying it.
Yeah, no, I don't want to simplify it, but that if you can control your emotions, you have better advantage in the situations. But of course, it demands a lot of work.
Yes and no.
Years to build that.
No, that's the amazing thing. That's the amazing thing. People tend to think, oh, you need a lot of training. I'm going to give an analogy which is true, and I can prove it because I have my students training in different methods. How it's harder to ride a motorcycle, a bicycle, or a car is harder than defending yourself. Really. But you need, for example, for riding a bicycle or motorcycle, you need 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, 2 legs, 2 hands, the body. How hard is to shoot a gun? You just need the proper amount in your wrist and a finger. But the component most important for shooting someone is the emotional. Makes sense in some way why it's more simple. Of course, people tend to shoot in an automatic way or emotional way. So there are many factors. Now, you can build real self-defense. The analogy is like you don't know how to swim. Nothing. And I have to teach you how to get from the center of the lake to the, to the border?
The shore.
To the shore, any way you can. Just don't drown. But there's a tendency to think that you need to learn, crawl, butterfly style, or do it fast, do it very fast, or apneas, like swim, go under. No. You don't know how to swim. I don't care. I don't care how do you get to the shore. I don't care. But I need you to at least do the minimum things that you get there. But the tendency In self-defense is the opposite. Is let's do the crawl. Crawl. How do you say this style? Let's do this style, and you have to do it fast. And worse, this is the worst. Some people train this way. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not the most assertive. They reinforce the fear of water. Basically, they tell you, you're going to feel fear. This is the concept. I'm going to make you feel, when you don't know how to swim and you get in water, you're going to have fear, right? That's a fact. So for training that, I'm going to reinforce the fear of getting in the water. I'm going to push your head below the water many times so you now have more fear. And that's the way I'm going to prepare you to swim, which in some way is not proper. It has to be the opposite. I have to teach you that you need to be comfortable. You have to control the emotions of dying to get to the shore. But some methods and styles, they do the opposite. They say, oh, no, you're going to have fear. So we have to rehearsal, and we have to make you feel that fear many times, and your emotions get high, and we use that emotions that you make you have power, or you feel very comfortable, and you feel, you feel confident, and you strike and you hit, which in our experience doesn't mean knowledge, but in our experience, people don't get it because they don't. You need to teach to control the person. You need to control the emotion. So self-defense is like that. And with that analogy that we just need to teach the basic so you don't get drawn. One of my instructors developed scenario-based training. He made it for self-defense. This was in 1970. After that, some styles of scenario-based training, they start to appear. Scenario-based training, basically, a guy push you and start to do this, blah, blah, blah. The guy respond. But scenario-based training by itself, it's a complete art. It's not the style. So if you have proper scenario-based training, that means a lot of emotional protection, a lot of process, a lot of method. You're gonna be surprised, but my students can tell you, you can train to defend in that way, do the basic things in 5 hours.
5 hours?
Of course. Yeah, you're gonna go like, no, wait, you're saying something, Joseph. Oh, come on, we do this style, no people. The point is this. That's a point. We have the frontal brain, which is trying to analyze. So there are methods that you want him to be so stressed that the frontal part of the brain is not working. Now the famous amygdala or limbic part of the brain is working. So basically, in that state of mind, if there is mind, the brain is recording everything. That's one way to see a trauma. A trauma is an emotional moment where the brain basically doesn't know how to handle rationally the situation. Like the earthquake now in Mexico, you are in front of a gun, your father is beating you and you don't understand it, or whatever situation that you don't know how to handle it. It can be physically, of course. So you are affected in your body and your emotions and everything. That's basically like a very simplistic definition of trauma. So if you can make a person have several traumas in dot lines, yeah. But in a constructive, positive way, in his mind is learning how to handle some type of situation where there is life or death situation. Makes sense? The problem normally is there is no good coaching behind that person. There's not a program how to protect the emotions of the person. You can overload the person. That's one of the problems. You can put a person in a scenario-based training and overload him. What tells you this, or what's the problem? That maybe you make a trauma, small trauma, but you are reinforcing the fear. And you don't want to reinforce the fear. You want the person to feel, or at least have confidence that he can do something assertive. So that's the reason I'm telling you. You can train kids, because we had trained kids. They have applied it on the street. We have women, we have men that, again, this is for the regular people doing a hand-eye maker. They put your gun. When you want to defend yourself against not professional bad guys or people, there are studies about that. So you can be like, oh, no. And people can hear me. No. It's not possible. That you don't believe, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Makes sense? I have trained people on this method, civilians, because I have trained police officer. I have that honor. But at least maybe in the last decade, maybe civilians, 3,000.
Yeah.
And sadly, from this 3,000, let's say maybe 400 have used it. That doesn't mean going straight to physical, because we teach exactly how to avoid a situation, but they say, hey, I just detect that, I see this, and I avoid going to that place. I was just in my work, and suddenly my coworker says something like, I feel that it was like harassment.
Yeah.
I feel it, and the moment I make a barrier and I say, stop, I don't want you to say this name to me, or don't say me that word to me. That's self-defense. You are preventing that the next time your co-worker tells you a little more deep offensive thing, suddenly, and that's a fact, suddenly they realize they are saying bad things to her or to him, like very harassment, and it's late because you let these people go deep. Basically, that's how bullies work. They test, they don't see a reaction, then they go a little harder. Then this person normally is passive, normally, and they keep the pressure. So when the person really wants to do something, it's too late. It's too late because it can't do something. It's just that now emotionally, the person has overloaded him. He knows it's a predator. So I'm not saying these 400, they all defend physically. A lot of them, they had physical defense. And it's interesting because we go to the amygdala zone. Normally, they are not thinking. That's what we do. We reprogram the brain and the body to function in this state. So normally, the feedback from them, they say, I don't know what I do. Josafath, I don't remember. But I remember hitting and running, because we teach that. You don't stay. You don't enjoy. You don't enjoy your knockout. You just go fast from that place. So not because it's so hardwired, people go and Josafath, I just see a knife and I remember hitting the way you taught me. We use a big heavy equipment protection, so people hit us hard. I mean, that's the objective. How can you train someone to hit someone, not a path, not a dummy, hard, a person? If you don't hit the person, there's like a misunderstanding or the illusion that, oh, this is going to transfer in reality. No. The way you train is the way you perform. There's no other way. That's the reason boxers, they do sparring. They need to hit a true guy. They don't. It's a true fighter, true boxers. They just don't hit the pair or the back. They need someone. So in self-defense, is the same. You need to hit as hard as you can. That's a problem. oh well, you can hit me because it's security, safety. Sorry, there's no other way. I wish, again, I wish I could teach
But is this the thing? Like last weekend, I was at your seminar
on Sistema,
yeah,
Russian
Systema,
martial
yeah,
art.
we go to Systema soon because I
Yeah.
want to know more about it for
Uh-huh.
sure. And but about the training methods, you said 5 hours you can teach, and
Yes.
now I actually realize it because we were doing this with the knives that you had to walk
Exactly.
towards the person, and he was throwing that knife like a big sword, and
Exactly.
it was a real knife, even though it wasn't sharp, but it was still
Still?
blade. And first of all, you think like, I can't walk through that. But
Exactly.
kind of you just did it, and you realize that there's nothing to be afraid of since you just put your mind into it and you're
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
afraid. There's this type of training that you do.
It's different. That's another approach,
Okay.
but it's not the same.
Okay, so we got that. Okay, we started already talking about Systema, and it was 2004 that you became a certified instructor of Russian martial arts.
I started in 2004, and 3 years later gave me the certificate of instructor.
and that Russian martial arts is Systema, right?
Yeah, but also I have an honor that another person teach me in Slavic methods. So yes, my instructor is Vladimir Vasiliev, and another one, his name is Oleg Maltsev. That's his name, Dr. Oleg Maltsev. So both of them, they have helped me a lot to understand about a martial art that is not from my country or my culture. That's the reason we say Russian martial art. But it's very interesting because there are many things around Sistema and Russian martial art or Slavic arts that if we look profound, you can find in many other arts. That's the reason when you see good Sistema, some people will say, wow, that's Aikido. No, it looks more like Judo. No, it looks more like kickboxing, or Muay Thai, look the strap, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's good. Makes you think like, wow, there's something there that people see similarities between that. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying it's interesting. If you see, I don't know, Aikido, which I made it, you can see that's Aikido. Period. If you see Taekwondo, that's Taekwondo. Maybe some styles they look related, but it's you can see that's Taekwondo. But when you see Sistema, depending on the eyes that look Sistema, they're gonna see it looks like this, it looks like that. Oh, that the groundwork looks like some wrestling jiu-jitsu thing. It's interesting, right? That's very interesting. Tells you, wow, there's something here that is different. It's not one way of doing the things. And that's the beauty of Sistema. Sistema, one of the beauty of Sistema is that the concept, which is different than the training, the concept is basically one of the words freedom. You can do whatever you want if you respect this concept. It's like painting. Makes sense? It's painting. You have the, how do you say, the white paper, you have your colors, and basically they say, come on, you can paint. But still you need to learn how to paint. It's not like, okay, let's paint. An elephant can paint. And that's true, elephants can paint. I'm not kidding. But that doesn't make you a big painter. So Sistema in some way is freedom. It lets you make whatever you want in a physical, mental aspect if you respect some rules. But there's the paradigm, even not in Sistema, in many people of the keep it simple. Just do it the way you want. Oh, no. If you want to defend, if you want to do this, keep it simple. Don't complicate. Sadly, again, I wish. Yeah. I think the only keep it simple, really, is the adrenaline conditioning. The scenario-based training. I think that's the only one that I will say, that keep it simple, but I do the work like a coach. You don't think. You don't do anything. I'm going to stress you. I keep it simple to you. You just do these basic things. But there's a lot of technology in the coaches. I think that's the only one. The other ones, the keep it simple mentality, is not so simple. That's the reason there, for me, there's a lot of mediocrity. That's the reason there's a lot of fails. There's a reason there's a lot of misunderstanding. Riding a bicycle is so difficult that there are very few computers. They are only developing computers now to do how to ride a bicycle. So even that we can say, oh, that's simple, riding a bicycle, it takes a lot of hardwire your brain, some type of, you need specific training to develop these skills, like, BMX or skateboard. At the beginning, it's very hard. So hard that you fall, you injure yourself. So that keep it simple, for me, it can be keep it simple. If you want to keep simple the things, someone with more knowledge, not you, has to tell you, don't focus on this part of the formula. Why? Because that's not important. What is important is this. That way you will keep it simple concept. I will apply it. But just keep it simple because, that's not the way an Olympic team works. Or an Olympic, you know about it, an Olympic person work. It's like, oh, yeah, let's go out and just train. Come on, let's run. And I will be prepared for running the Olympic 42 kilometers. No, you need a program. So the Sistema, even that is the freedom and let's do simple things, it has a lot of technology behind.
But you mentioned early in the talk about the circles of combat sport and martial arts, and now we are in the martial arts, and now we're in Sistema. Tell me about the Sistema circle. Is this a too large question?
No, I remember perfectly when Vladimir mentioned Sistema by coincidence become a martial art. By coincidence. There are many things I don't understand, but they worked. Make sense? I don't need to understand really deeply how does a plane work. Fly. I know that I understand the concept, but if you really tell me, I don't understand. I just understand that the motors is not the one that makes you fly. It's a suspension effect, right? That you are flying. That the wings, the way the wings, speed above, speed below. Basically, that's what makes you fly. But I don't understand. So I can tell you honestly, there are many things of Sistema, good Sistema again, not any type of Sistema. In this case, that Sistema from Vladimir and Mikhail. I don't know other styles. I think I can see where they try to go. And if it works to them to save their life, that's good. The answer will be, have you saved or some of your students saved their life? In reality, that would be a good question because at the end, most people want to train for that because it's self-defense in some way. So I don't understand many things about Sistema. I do some of the drills and they work. In reality. Oh, how do you know? Have you been assaulted? Yeah, I've been kidnapped. I have been assaulted. I have been behind and in front of a gun. So that doesn't make me an expert. And my students who work in the field have applied and they gave me a feedback. That doesn't make Sistema like the top-notch method, but they return with good feedback. And basically they return safe physically. Second, they return mentally healthy. Third, they return with no emotion post-trauma. For me, that's good because maybe I can teach something. It works in reality, but they return with damage of their psyche or their mentality. They go more aggressive. Now they feel so overconfident that they are looking for I'm very good, I enjoy it. And no, keep calm. You are a professional. Makes sense what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So what I have found, Sistema and of course, the Slavic method, and of course, my mentor's style, which is the Koga method, they return emotional and mentally more healthy. So, answering your question, I recognize that Systema becoming or coming from a culture that is high influenced by religion. If you go to my country, even that we are mostly Catholic, we are more, in some way, people are more devoted to the Virgin Maria. Virgin Maria, the church, is so faith powerful that in the 12th of December, which is the day of the Virgin Maria, the church received more people than the Muslim Mecca. It's about 12 millions of persons visiting on the 12th of December. That tells you how big it is, the faith of, or the belief of the Virgin Maria. So, Systema coming from a religious country, which I know about the Orthodox. I don't understand it because it's not my religion. And many things that are in Systema are cultural based. Maybe I just can talk about or share about the self-defense part and a little part of the martial art part. I know that in the self-defense part, which includes a healthy part, it includes a physical and mental, emotion, and there's also a spiritual part. I don't have the knowledge to speak of something I don't understand yet profoundly, but I can see the benefits. I'm not interested myself, my case, to go too deep. Maybe for someone they go to go deep, they study Russian, they go and they become Orthodox, whatever they want to do. If they are happy, if their heart is happy, that's good. The point is, you train something to become a better person. Yeah. That's all. Martial arts, self-defense has to be to become a better person. I can tell you an example. Oh, we do the best self-defense method. You don't need that. You just can throw a grenade against a guy and it will explode. That's the best self-defense. But does that make you a better person? No. Do you respond do you will respond for that act to the law? Yes. Now you realize doing martial arts and doing self-defense, even combat, you need to work to become a better person. And if a person goes to, let's say you go to Mexico and I do Mexican style, and if you want to be devoted in this case to the Virgin Maria, but I can see that it's not making you a better person, that's not good.
It was funny that you mentioned, but I don't want to go too deep in. And when I've been in your seminar first time was 1 year ago, and now again, and for me it's so deep, sort of like, because you are just a person that senses when somebody has a hate inside of them, even though you don't see them. So for me, it's very deep level already, and these levels I will come a little bit later. But now, okay, this is so many things that.
You will simplified. Have to, you will have to do that. Yeah. They're not going to be, let's go to the next week.
No. You said simplify, and I understood what you meant. But now I was at your training, and I'm not in any level of system. I've been just there twice. But
that's enough.
Simplifying was really the basic elements that, how is it possible that we, human beings, people just totally forgot how to walk or rotate? And figure it's so simple thing, but actually we don't realize how our body functions. I used to be a professional athlete, but still, when I need to move on the side, I can't do it right.
It was hard?
Yeah.
Why? Why is this?
Why is this?
Because there are many factors. I can speak about ego. I can speak about automatic pilot. People we go in automatic pilot.
That one I understand.
Yeah, that's one of the masteries. If you want to, one of the basic of Sistema, the motto is discover yourself. So for me, at least, there are many ways to discover yourself. Some people say, "Oh, I discover I don't believe in anything," okay, and they go to religion. Other person, "Oh, I just believe I'm not healthy." They go to the health part. Some people I say, "Well, I just discovered I have fears and I want to challenge." And you can't disappear fears. If you disappear your fears, it's not the path. You make fear your partner. So in a way that it doesn't distract you during the mission. But if you want to avoid fear, there's easiest way to avoid fear. Smoke weed. Really. Put under a drug. Take a drug. Most people do it. Bad guys, normally in my Mexico, they inhale, they are under the influence and they go. Because it's a way to handle your fear. I don't know, but most skydivers, I don't know, in my country, skydivers, militaries, they say,
I've done it a couple of times.
They say, you want courage? Meaning the courage, do you want some weed? So before,
I didn't know that.
Oh, no, I'm saying you because I have parachutes, military guys that they say, oh, you need some braveness.
Okay.
So I haven't do parachuting. I do pointing and bungee. So having the fear, you can handle it in many ways. So in Sistema, some people will say, oh, I want to go and I discover myself that I have fears. And to discover myself, I have to perceive this fear. Okay, it's good. So in Sistema, you have many options to know about yourself. The beauty of Sistema is that true discover yourself means so many things. As you say, the simple things that we forgot about them. Now, for example, I give you an example how we are so automatic pilot. I enjoy physical activities. And people are doing what they say, the natural movement. Like, I'm going to do natural movement. We are born with natural movement. If you really, how can you see if someone has a natural movement? If he moves like a kid of 7 years old, you are natural. Then they are gonna say, no, but the bones in the hips, they are not still developed, so that's the reason they can do squats and we do this. No, if you want to see someone moving natural, you just see a kid. We forget how to move natural. It's an example, it's an analogy. We forget. We born with this. It's just that there are many things, like for example, when you are 7, 8, 7, 9, that's when kids or we start to have conscious of ourselves. The proper name is ego appear. And when ego appear, that's one of the factors that is going to destroy your natural movement. Really. Because if you are tense, if you have fear, if you are anxious, if you have desires, they're going to affect the way you move. Because mind is affecting the body. You're going to have injuries. You're going to change. Depending on the severeness of the injury, you're going to change the way you move, your habits. There are many things that are going to affect how you move. But we don't have conscious on that. We don't have that conscious. We just go in automatic because we have in some way more importance again things to do. So when we arrive to a sport, Sistema, movement, class, whatever, there's a tendency to think that we know this. I know how to breathe. I breathe daily. I know how to move. I move daily. Basically, you are saying, I know how to eat. No, you don't eat chile. If you don't know about Mexican chile, I better tell you, don't eat this one. First start with this. But some foreigners, They go, oh no, I want the jello. I want the jello one. That's the one that's habanero. And they go like, well, you told me you know how to eat. That's simple. So a good instructor, and I mean, an instructor that has knowledge has to tell you, focus on this. For you, it's simple, but it's not that it's simple. Even it's not complete. It's something you forget to do it in the proper manner. So maybe I was lucky. Well, no, it's not maybe. I'm lucky. My instructors, Vladimir, Oleg, Koga, taught me to focus in specific things, which for me were, why did I didn't think this before? For me, like you, like I came with my automatic pilot, with my ego. Really, it's ego. You came and you say, I know how to run. Again, it's the same example. I know how to run. Come on, Josafath. I just do CrossFit. Come on, I know how to do it. No, you don't know. You try to make a iron cross, like gymnast. Sorry, it's not gonna happen. You have to train iron cross. Makes sense? So it's the same. There are many things that they taught me, and I realized this is so simple. Yeah, this is so simple. Yeah, maybe because since the beginning, maybe, we don't know, because we don't have the confirmation. So I just guessing. Sistema, like many other martial arts, like in Aikido, very few persons really understand the principle. What makes work the style, in this case, martial arts.
Is it the self-awareness that you bringing more out? Is that the right word to use? That you know your body, you know your mind, you know yourself. Then you are more prepared, then you are ready to move in a proper way.
Of course, of course. Even that's the beauty. When you are in self-defense, let's return for the self-defense, there's only two choices. There's only two results. You die or you live. Period. If you don't accept that part of the formula, I don't want to die, you have lost many things. Your odds are against you. Oh, you don't want to get caught. Better think, I'm caught. So what do I have to learn now? First aids. Makes sense what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
So in self-defense, speaking about knowing yourself, your body, you have to recognize your weakness, what you can do and what you can't do. For example, I enjoy gymnastics. And I see, for example, skateboard, surfing. And one of my best friends in Mexico, Omar, I asked him, please teach me that. And I recognize I'm not going to be a good surfer. But I have to be very honest. But at least I want to be above the table, the board. In the board. I want to do that. So part of maturity, I think also, is recognize your limitation. It's not what you can do. We have a tendency to be superheroes in our minds. I want to be this. And some people, it's good that you think, I want to be millionaire and I'm going to work for that. Okay, it's good. Where are you now? What's your limitation? How much time you have? Are you ready to sacrifice family? Are you ready to sacrifice time? No. But still, I want to go to the parties. Still, it's an Olympic champ. You have to. It's the same. You recognize where you are and your limitation. That doesn't mean you get comfortable and you accept it. No. So in a self-defense situation, because on Sistema, one of the things that they teach you is, for example, striking. The striking, at least from Vladimir and Mikhail, is a different type of strike. It goes deep inside you.
I felt that.
Yeah, so that teaches you, some people say his humility. Yeah, that's a consequence. Makes sense? That's the consequence. Because I have seen many instructors, they receive a strike. Of course, they smile when it's Mikhail, but then they start to beat other students. You want to feel Sistema? Come here. Boom, they strike the guy. That's not humility. That's a way to make their ego grow. So it's not about that. Humility is a consequence if there is good guidance. Make sense? So when we strike in system, or you receive in a way, in a position, in the drill, a strike of systema, it goes deep inside you, very deep. So you know how to handle a strike. That's like the first layer, like the rational layer, like, oh, this can make me be a better fighter. No, 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 no. That's like the also consequence. It makes you feel how weak you are, really. How weak you are. It makes you feel the fear. It makes you feel injured. That's true. You feel injured. But it starts to teach you, okay, this is reality. You're going to be injured.
This is the way you're building your mindset step by step. You starting in a small process. You hit this hard and you get the feeling. Oh, is this the place that the instructor can really do it wrong? If you hurt your student too bad, he will never or she will never come back. And the fear stays inside.
Exactly. If you I don't, maybe you remember when we were doing the striking. Some people, they ask, can you strike me? And you can see it would, I mean, at least me, I don't know. And Vladimir is like that. You can see that. You can see. Sometimes he asks, why do you want to be strike? I have seen my master say, why did you want to be striked? And people go like, oh, because I want to receive whatever excuse they have. And Vladimir is Vladimir, so he goes and strike you. He's a master. He knows how to do it. I'm way far away from me. But at least when a person comes and say, can you strike me? You can see he has fears. And sometimes hitting is worse. Even if you make a slight, light strike, you can see it's gonna. So you strike, but you don't strike in the stomach. Maybe you strike, in the trapezius, or you strike in the chest, or whatever. But that's when it's supposedly an instructor has to be working. That's what an instructor has to be working. How am I gonna build the student with a strike? I know it sounds stupid if you're not in Systema, right? I know it. I recognize if someone tell me, oh, you're gonna grow if you receive strikes, you're gonna say like, no way, how do you strike? That's stupid. But that's the way it's in Systema. You have to be in Systema to understand it. But let's say, try to explain to people that are listening, is you receive a strike to the stomach, it has to be exactly the amount that makes you feel pain, not really go in a way that it hurts you badly, but it helps you, and you have to be taught how to recover from it. So discover yourself, or learning about yourself, has to do to recognize that you are vulnerable, that you have limitations, that even if you wish, you can't do many things. So when you start to learn about this, you can see when it's a life day situation, and the only solution for that situation is that you take this person with you in the trip to the next life. Makes sense? It's like very hard. It's very hard because people don't want to go that level. So I'm very honest. I speak to my students almost daily. You are vulnerable. Don't get in bad situation. Avoid it. But if you get to the situation, trust on your training and accept that it can be that. Accept it. It's not like opening your chest and saying, come on, hit me, come on, I'm gonna die for no. But if you don't accept that vulnerability, you're gonna react now like a primitive caveman, like a monkey. I don't want to die. Monkeys defend, a primitive brain, mammals. You're gonna respond like that. So now your brain is not functioning. So I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but you have to be training that. Again, if you don't train it, you don't perform it. So even if I wish to go to Olympics, maybe it's too late. Maybe I can go to the 70s Olympics. Makes sense? But you have to accept it. So it's not easy to accept that. That's one of the hardest parts in self-defense. I don't want to die. First thing, avoid being in that situation. Oh, no, 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 but we train against guns. We train against knives. We train against multiple opponents. Are you accepting that? If you are not accepting, it's going to be difficult. Now, how you accept that? You train first aids. You are a nice person. You say goodbye and you do the right thing. So when that moment comes, you know everything is well finished and done in your life. Make sense? So that's the reason through martial arts, now we can go to the martial arts. It's about enjoying the moment, enjoying life. Of course, I don't want to die. I want to see my daughter grow. I really want it. I wish maybe they called me before. But when I came here, basically, that's hard. That's hard, but I have to train that. I say goodbye to them in my mind, in my heart. So if something happened, I can say, okay, I accept the consequence, or I accept your call. If I believe in God, I accept it. I don't want it. Makes sense? There's one thing, wishing and accepting. So sometimes my instructor, Koga, taught me this. Some situation is like you are in an airplane and the airplane starts to fall. You can pray, you can scream, you can watch the movie, you can drink, get drunk, you can have sex with whoever you want, you can smoke maybe because no one is seeing. You can do whatever you want, whatever you wish. The plane is falling. You don't have control on that. That's acceptance. And you will see, if we put this example, and I put 10 people training with different experiences, not only martial arts, they will almost, and I was like, I mean, I'm not saying, but I oriented my training for that. That's different. I'm not saying it's better, but my training is oriented that instead of running, screaming, yelling, drunk, praying, by automatic pilot, you consciously enjoy your last 5 minutes, your last minute. But normally, our mind tends to do anything to avoid that moment. Oh, no, no, I'm going to try to go to the pilot and help him, or it has to. And if you do this exercise in your mind, you will see that most part of your brain is trying to avoid that moment. It's trying hardly, and even it will rise emotions. Makes sense? It's gonna write like, no, 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 better, no. I'm gonna think on that. No, that's the way you really prepare. Not for war. War is different. I'm saying war. No, no, no. War is you professionally go to war. No, I'm saying self-defense. So in this case, I don't want to die. That's true. Nope, I don't want to die. I want to see my daughter grow. I want to kiss her. I want to see her I want to protect her. But I have to accept that the moment something happens, I trust on my training. And second, I accept that. I don't want it. But if I'm not thinking like that, my odds are less reduced. And self-defense or any emotional situation, like in a conflict, is about who has more odds on his side. So I'm just trying to improve those odds on my side, maybe to 80-20, maybe 85. I don't want 50-50. Never.
You want to have the
Of
advantage
course.
of the situation.
Oh,
I understand.
I want the odds on my side. It's not going to be 100%. There's no guarantee. But at least I say, okay, I'm going to try.
When I was getting those strikes, I really felt the energy, and they were not even hard. And also in the seminar, now I've been twice, there is this sort of an energy feeling. And also when you hit me, or somebody else did who can do it like Johnny, but you're able to kind of transform that energy after. Maybe it stays inside you, and then you just kind of use your hit to, you said it, put it down.
Yeah, I know what you
change
mean.
the energy. Can you explain me anything about this?
Yeah, we're going to go to on level, some people are gonna go like, oh no. Well, okay, let me tell you something. Even let's start with a foundation. This interview is long, right? They're gonna get bored, so you cut it, okay?
Okay.
Believe it or not, even if you don't want it, we are holistic persons. Holistic energies. Energy, not speaking like energy, like ki, chi, something. No. I'm saying you are alive because of something you don't understand. Otherwise, you will be dead. So you're alive not because you are so good and you are you. So that's the reason I'm alive. No. There's something you don't understand. Your material eyes, your brain, 30, 20, 25, 18 years old, 50 years old, don't understand. If you could understand it, you could create life. Period. It's so simple. If I understand about wheat, eggs, and milk and sugar, that doesn't make me a chef. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So people tend to think, I know about wheat. Oh, no, I know about milk. Yeah, a cake is made of eggs, wheat, milk, and sugar. And if I ask them, okay, make me a cupcake. Make sense?
Yes.
So you need to study that. But in this case, when we speak about something giving life, we don't know anything yet. I don't care if they say it's electricity, if it is energy, if it is whatever they wish, or soul. Using the analogy is like saying, like you see the cake, you taste the cake, but you don't know how to make it. We have the luxury in this analogy to know about wheat, eggs, milk, and sugar. We have the luxury. When we speak about energy in a concept of life, okay? What makes you be alive? Oh, well, spermatozoid. No. That's only trying to explain wheat yet. That's only wheat.
Yeah.
Wheat? You say wheat?
Wheat.
Okay.
I guess. I'm
okay.
Finnish.
Well,
it's not my
okay.
language either.
Well, let's milk. We are guessing. Oh no! It's electricity. There's no one can explain it. No one. No one is no one. So let me go on this. It's gonna be really fast. So when we talk about the energy, we have to agree only in a concept. Okay, so we can talk. Otherwise, people are gonna go, no way. So holistic means even if you don't wish, or you don't like it, or you don't believe it. But a person is holistic make the whole system. But the ego doesn't let you see. Only if you don't have a dog, a pet, you live in the mountains, you are alone and don't have a cell phone, maybe you can be in another type of group of persons. But if you like dogs, if you like animals, if you have a daughter, if you have a boyfriend, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a mother you like to visit, or if just you enjoy going to another city and meeting people, you are normal. Okay? You are not psychopath, you are not sociopath. Make sense? So, if someone tells you, I don't love you, you're gonna feel bad, or maybe you feel good. Oh, thanks God. But if someone tells you that tells you it is affecting in all levels of your human being. If your father used to beat you up, or if your mother tells you or give you a, how do you say?
Slap.
A slap, it's gonna hurt you a lot. A lot. That's the reason there are traumas, right? But that tells you it's not the physical. It's their emotions, there are memories, Who knows in what level is affecting in spiritual. We don't know. You can't see it. You can't. You want to see it, but you can't. That's the milk. That's the sugar. That's the wheat. That's you make the cake. So we are like a cake. A big, depending, some are chocolate, some are strawberry, but you are a cake. You are not the milk. You are not the sugar. So, and even if you can separate, that doesn't make you. You have to be oven. You have to be builded. So when we speak about energy, and you say about the strike, first thing you need to do and start seeing, understanding, is believing there's something you don't understand. That's the first step. I'm not saying believe in UFOs. I'm not saying just accept it. Why? Because that way your mind will be open. Period. If I tell you, hey, you have to believe me. True tacos are not like this. But I'm saying to Finnish people, true tacos, true salsa is not like that. My host Jonathan has been in Mexico and he enjoyed the sun. And their sun and it's really warm, whatever. But let's say you have never been out of Finland, never. And I told you, hey, there's a place that you will feel the sun different, even different than in Spain, maybe Mallorca. It's different. Tropical temperatures are different. And you insist, no, that's not possible. But you believe me because I come from there. Make sense? So when I told you, you have to trust on me, there's an expectation. Okay, maybe there is something that maybe it's true, but until I don't feel it, I confirm it, I'm going to believe it. Make sense? But for example, people accept there is a moon, there's a sun, but you haven't been there. So why did you accept there is a moon? Maybe I like this movie of, that he lives in a world that is prefabricated with this famous star, Jim Carrey. Who knows? But you don't believe that like that. So the first step is that you accept there's something you don't know. Period. If you accept, maybe some things can start to appear. So when you strike someone and you say, Cerner, no, I remember Mihail teaching this, and he thought that first you need to try to transfer an emotion. And of course, my rational brain at that moment was, this is stupid.
Not possible.
Not even possible. This is, I'm wasting my time here. This is a sect. I know, this is a sect. Come on.
Sounds totally lunatic.
Yeah, it's lunatic. Yeah. I'm not saying believe in UFO, aliens. I'm just saying something you can control. Don't get outside of you. That will be, you will get lost. If you go to conspiracies, you will get lost because it's something you don't control. And if you don't control the basics in you, it's going to be difficult outside. So when you say, oh, I make you feel, my first approach was you have to transfer an emotion. And of course, at that time, it was like, oh, this is a set. Then it starts to get related with protection, executive protection, because you start to recognize what people have intention. And that's true. There's many drills that you can detect that. The intention. Professional work or professionals work in their intention. They want to hide. They don't want people to see their intention. That's a professional work. When there's no professional work, that's the caveman, amateurs. They just attack and whatever. So when you go to big cities, you develop this sense. It's just that you don't know. And even some people, they are in automatic pilot. They go to work and they are assaulted during their work to home or home to work. They are assaulted because they are in automatic pilot. But if you develop the senses, you will feel it. So you accept there is something. My first approach was Mihail saying, try to make him feel happy. Oh, come on, that's stupid. But at least you are working on you. Makes sense? It's not that you make happy someone. It's that you have the conscience of your own feelings and guessing, expecting, wishing that something happened on him. But you open the door.
And that's not easy to open the door. Let yourself be open.
It does open. It don't open the door until you feel it. Make sense?
Yes.
It's like, okay, I want to taste the taco. And if I give you a taco, then you say, wow, this is good. I'm not gonna eat any more Taco Bell. I'm sorry for Taco Bell, okay? If there's a franchise here. But after that you taste it, you start to believe. The same happened in Sistema. When people go with a good instructor or our masters and they try to taste the taco, they get out with there's only two options. You deny it, you feel it, but you say, oh, no, it's fake. But you go out and go like, and you deny it. It's like, you say, okay, and they go to their thing. But in their real mind, they go like something they don't understand, but they don't want to accept that what they were doing maybe was not the proper way for the expectation they are training. Or some people, they start to train. They say there's something here. But you can't deny. There's no one. There's only one, maybe some person that puts videos or whatever. But maybe there's only 1-2 persons. But mostly 99% of people that they test something, they feel something. They don't understand. Again, the taco, the energy, whatever you want to name it. So, simple question. Answer. It's not about stupid faith or stupid believing. If you tell me there are guys that jumps from a trampoline and do pirouettes without looking to them, I will be that. If you go to the caveman, if you go to the 15th century and you tell them, hey, we're gonna have a square that is gonna be light inside, and you can talk to someone inside. This is a mobile. You are not looking. Our people hear it, and you tell this 15th century guy, you with this square objective, rectangular object, you can talk to someone way far away from you. You can see him. You can exchange ideas. Even you can took something that you can watch this person anytime you wish. They're gonna tell you you're a lunatic. And that's crazy. Come on, that's no way. They're gonna kill you. Basically, they're gonna go like that. But that's the way speaking about energy it is. I prefer to accept it. I'm not a deep researcher about okay, let's go with frequencies or what it is. I just use it.
Acceptance. Yeah.
And I use it, period. Of course, I need to understand maybe a little more than the regular student, but I have so many things to focus because holistic, that's the world. Maybe I'm understand about the meat, but I don't get deep on what type of cow, if it is Finnish, Mexican cow, but the Finnish milks is more protein. And people get lost on that. They say, no. The Finnish cow, they provide better milk because the protein is 28 grams and the Mexican is only 2 grains. So you have to be careful and you have to boil it at this temperature. You are getting lost in the point. Okay, if you want to go deep in milk things, you can do it. But now you forget about what you were doing about the holistic thing. I'm not saying go so deep that you understand it, but people try to understand an holistic thing in separate way. It can be. And that's my answer. Very complex.
It is a complex issue.
I told you that was a difficult question.
It's been a blast. It's been amazing talk. I have still a couple of more questions for you.
I want to be short.
For you.
Okay.
What are your values in life?
Wow, very. That's not. But I'm gonna be. I believe in a code that many people don't believe. That is very hard to follow. Very hard. That was a hard question, but it's very hard. It's not easy. Try to do the right thing, even costing me a lot of things. Make sense? So my beliefs are in the famous code, which if we look really back and really profound, is based on the heart. Do the right thing. Or what is the right thing? The law, ethics. You know what is right. We all know in our hearts. Not in the mind, not in the law, not in the society. You know what is wrong. So I believe in that code. I believe on protecting people that can't protect themselves. I believe in that. So I believe in family. I'm not saying don't make mistakes. I'm not saying that. We are humans. We are here to evolve. And I believe we came here to explore. This is our laboratory. So we explore many things the soul can't do by itself. So the soul come here to improve as a soul via this texture, the body. And for that, you have to follow a code. You have to follow the rules. The rules are very simple. The rules is anyone that it helps and asks you, it's your duty to help. Help in the proper manner. Defend the person that can be defended. It's not just helping, it's making the other person better. And you know the code. Everybody knows the code. It's just they don't want to follow it. It's easy to don't follow it. It's easier. Avoid it. Come on, bullshit. I'm sorry, but wow, that's old. That's orthodox. Come on, blah, blah, blah. We're modern days. Yeah, that's the reason we have a lot of problems for me. So I try to share with my students my code. That's my values. My value is my daughter. That's my family. My mother, of course. My partner. I make mistakes like any human. I try not to make them. I'm trying to share light. Light is about opening the hearts of other people, and when you put a small light in the person, the heart is like, I knew it. I knew it. It's just that I'm too distracted. So it's not about money. If you can use money to be a better person, that's perfect. Use the money. If money makes you a worse person, that's not good. If money makes you forget about people, that's not good. If money makes you make other better person, that's perfect. So my values are that the old code. Some people they say they was a knight. Some people say well that's a warrior code. Whatever you want to call it, there is basic. So if you make a profound, everybody has this. Some people even that's what evil comes. Real evil. Real evil is about a person that knows something is wrong and decide to do it. That's evil. Ignorance is another thing. For example, I can be blind. I don't see and I'm making wrong thing. That doesn't make you evil. It's wrong? Of course it's wrong. It's not good. It's not good, but you are not conscious. Evil comes when you have the conscious and consciously you do it. For me, that's evil. It's like, that's not good. And we train to fight against that. We train to that type of person. It's not about, let me give you an example. In Mexico, there are many narcos guys, many people doing wrong things, and they are conscious. That's when we fight. It's not about, the bad guys, because the bad guys normally think they are the good guys also. Makes sense? It's people knowing is wrong and manipulating other people, unconscious people to do the thing. That's when you say, that's my war. That's my values. It's not religion. It's not something someone make me read. It's something that when the right persons, Vladimir, Oleg, Koga, and another two instructors, they all speak the same. It's funny. They don't meet each other and they speak the same. It's just that this is where the name the one of the definition of warrior. The warriors know about this, and it's not easy because daily you suffer. Daily you say, I'm not perfect. Daily you say, I'm not as good as I think I was. I'm not as very powerful. I have weakness. I make this mistake today again, and then I made it again, and again I made it. That's a true battle, fighting against your human design. So that's my value.
And that is the reason why I came back to your seminar from last year.
Nice.
Deeply, your
I thought it was for
your
striking.
no, it was not the striking. I've never been a martial art guy or anything. I don't like strikes. But
Okay.
your sort of your existence, you just being present. When I met you first time 1 year ago, it just changed something in me, and I'm not lying.
That's good.
So that's why I came back, and that's why I feel so honored that you came here to sit down with me and share this conversation.
This is normal. I mean, this is not something big. I'm glad you learned something. That's the way they taught me. My instructors, real instructors, you just need to be talking with them. People tend to think, oh, we need to learn to strike. We need to know. You just need to sit here, and something in your heart will open. That's what we are trying. And you, with your microphone, I hope you can open more hearts to understand people about their self, accept the weakness, and accept the challenge. That's when true warriors appear. Because it's no easy. It has never been easy. It has never been. It's just that for true warrior, I'm not saying a warrior. I'm way far away, but I'm trying. I try it. At least I'm trying. You start to see the problem is me. The problem is not him. The problem is not blah, blah, blah. It's me. I have to make the best I can for me. Of course, for that, you need guidance. That's the truth. If I don't have that guidance, maybe I would be looking in Google and I will get lost. That's the truth. When I see Google, you can get lost in that amount of information. Conspiracy theories, do this, do that, meditate, or just meditate. No, that's the difference. In shamanism, shaman. Yeah. One of the definition, I'm gonna finish, but one of the definition of shaman is not the person that make ceremonies and eat peyote, drugs, mushrooms. A true shaman has 4 skills. Warrior, they know the warrior side. Wise man, you are trying to learn about the wise thing. In English will be like a health. It takes you away from sickness. Healthier. A person that provides health.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah,
makes sense. Like a doctor, but he's not a doctor. He tries to help people in their health in the 3 levels: spiritual, physical, and mentally. So he's a healer.
Healer, yeah. You found the word. I couldn't figure it out.
He's healer. So he's a wise man. He's a warrior. The wise man, the healer, and the word in English is the person that can see things coming. People that can see, like, not the future, because people tend to see, he see the future. No, it's just that you can see things that are going to happen. Like, if you see a little kid running and you go, he's going to fall. I know it. He's going to fall. He's running too fast. He still don't know how to move his feet. And they fall. Makes sense what is like guessing person. I don't know how to name it in English, but you know what I mean, right? It's the person that they go
the
like...
shaman name comes to my mind. Right?
Yeah, they go like, I have this dream that this is going to happen. Well, that's the 4th skill.
Yeah.
So a shaman has these 4 skills. Some people think warrior is just warrior. Some people think healer is just a healer. The wise man, he's a wise man. Or the the other one, the person that see the future. Again, not the person that see the future, like it's someone that has so much knowledge that can see is going to happen. So a person has these four things. So it's not easy because each one requires knowledge, discipline, that give results. So people want results without discipline and without knowledge. You see what I'm going? I'm following that. But your heart knows that's the formula. But people are lazy. We are lazy. We tend to. So with your microphone, that's the point. You have an opportunity to share light. The light is not about religion. It's about opening that heart that makes other people think, maybe there's something I can do to myself to improve me. Not taking a drug. Some people need by chemical. They need some type of drug. That's true. I have attention deficit. I have to be taking medicine because otherwise I'm out of focus. Some people need it, but that's when you start to see, oh, maybe I don't need this person to be happy. Maybe I don't need this activity to be me. Maybe I don't need this type of person next to me, or maybe I want to be with that person, or maybe I don't need to follow, whatever. But that's when your conscience appear, your heart open, you have the light, and that's when you start to see, hey, maybe I have a purpose in this life. If you see many people, they don't find it, never. They just say, oh, I enjoy skateboard, for example. Well, what's your purpose of doing skateboard? I just enjoy the adrenaline. Okay, that's good, but what's the purpose? Could be teaching another. And that's, if you see, that's when they start, oh, maybe I can share this with, oh, that's good. You discover your purpose. But your microphone, your podcast, which I'm happy it affects you, the words, is not me. It's not Josafath. It's a message. And you have more opportunity than me to influence people. That would be beautiful because now I hope many more people can enjoy this time lapse they were given and don't just be wasting their time. Make sense? To me, in my case, my awakeness was when I was 35, 38 years old. That was not many years ago. I mean, I'm old, but so that is not like, oh, well, you were young. No. It can happen when you have 60 years old. It can happen. It goes like, oh, now I know what I need to do. It's good. It's better to be conscious and enjoy one day of life than being 90 years of life and you just go like emotions like, oh, I enjoy life. I had my kids. I was happy. What was your purpose in life? Well, I was a good mother. If your purpose really is, I want to be the best mother I can, that's good. But if you just go because I tried to be the best one, but you really was not the purpose, you don't know it, I think that's part of our task to open the heart and say, this is the light. It's hard. It's very hard because it takes a lot of effort and mistakes. Make sense?
Josafath Herrera, thank you so much.
It's an honor to me. I hope it's a long interview. You need to cut it. But I hope someone takes something valuable for it and just share the message. It's very simple. Right?
I am sure.
Here with the heart.
I am sure about that. Thank you.
Thanks to you.